Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Payne. Welcome back to another episode of Blu Ocean Crypto. So Mavia just launched their web marketplace. This is the community stress test. You could call it the first phase. So there are definitely some unique things about this. You don't want to just limit yourself to using the in-game marketplace. This is also a great resource for traders and people who want to spend more time doing that. Now, there is a couple steps to make sure that your in-game account is properly connected. I'm going to go through that to start, and then we're going to dive into the web marketplace, and I'm going to show you guys some of the advantages and why you should be using it. So without further ado, let's jump right in.
I want to play.
Okay, so first off, and there's been a lot of people asking this question, how do I connect my in-game account to the web marketplace? Now, the very first thing you have to do is in-game, connect your account to a social account. I recommend always using Google, even if you're on an Apple device. It's just simpler. For example, if you ever wanted to play your account on an Android or another device, Google works across both platforms. Apple does not. It's fine if you used Apple already and you had it linked. Doesn't really make a difference. So make sure you're on a computer. That's another important point. Some people have problems trying to do this on the phone. You're essentially going to make an account on Mavia with a MetaMask or your preferred wallet. This is separate from your in-game account to start. So I'll kind of show you an example here. Now, I've already done the connection, but I'll show you what it's like. So once you log in with the MetaMask, you're going to click on the profile picture. Then when you see this here, you're going to click My Account. Now, in this section is where you can actually link it to your Apple or your Google. This is effectively what is going to connect your website Mavia account with your in-game Mavia account. It's through the social connection. So once this is done, then you're good to go. So you're going to be signing into the website using the same MetaMask that you used to create the account. You can see that it's linked to Google. So for example, for me, this is one of my bases, right? I linked it to Google because I use a Google account to sign in. That's what's signed in game. And now I can use the web marketplace and both the accounts are properly attached. So that's the important thing to note and how you guys can do that. Once you've got that sorted, you're going to head over to the marketplace. Now, another thing that's been tripping some people up is you have to be on ETH mainnet to originally make the account, but you actually have to switch to Base in order to do any transactions here. So what I do is as soon as I get here, I'm just going to switch over to Base. Now I can interact with stuff. Now, of course, just like in game, there's the Explore section. I just find this is really clean to see. You can kind of see what's going on here with the different skins. There's also popular collections. A lot of this is very similar. I like the statistics tab. There's been a lot of, this is similar in game too. But let's get into the meat of it. What advantage do we actually have? Now, this account, I only have one villager post on it because I wanted to use it to show you as an example. But I would say that the limit orders are probably the biggest advantage here in game, because what you can actually do is you can do a market buy. You have to be really careful when you do this. You want to look at what is it actually going to cost. Now, that market buy, 3,600, is actually because somebody has a sell limit order, you can see right here, set for that 3,600. So effectively, if I want to do a market buy, I'm buying the cheapest offer, right? The cheapest listing, so to speak. I can also put in something called a limit buy. And this is generally good if you want to try to maybe put in a limit buy for a cheaper price. If you think maybe it'll go down, you might be able to get it cheaper, or maybe someone will be willing to part with that. So for example, we can see here, there's one for 2250. And there's actually three sitting at 2250 for a buy. So when someone comes in here, if they want to sell, they could actually market sell immediately for that highest limit buy. Pretty amazing, right? You do want to be careful though, because you want to make sure, okay, what is it that I'm actually selling or buying for? I have seen a couple people make a few mistakes in the beginning and they paid way too much than they probably realized. And sometimes it's just people's aptitude too. A lot of people don't always fully understand market versus limit. Depends on how familiar you are with that. But this is amazing because you can come in here now and say, well, I am willing to pay $2,400 for a village hut. And that's actually higher than the biggest buy limit. So I'm going to put one in, let's do that. I'll say, well, let's do 2,400, right? And now when someone else wants to do the market buy, the market sell, I'll be the one that collects that. Now it's interesting. There's another very nuanced aspect to this that I don't think most people know. And this is a huge tip. If you have the highest offer here for buying, let's say someone tries to sell, at a very specific price. So they come in here for a limit sell and they do I don't know why someone would do this, but even still, it does happen. Let's say that they want to sell their village house or village hut for 1,000. And generally where this would happen is a mistake. Someone might put one less zero. Maybe they're trying to list it for 10,000, but they accidentally left a zero. When they sell this or go to sell it during a limit sell, because you have the highest buy offer, you're going to snag that first. So that's a really important detail here. There's actually some competition based on, do you have the highest limit buy, because you'll actually be the one to be rewarded if anything lower than that happens. Now the odds of that happening are super low. Like I said, maybe, 1 in 10,000, 1 in 1,000. It doesn't happen very much. But if someone ever did make that mistake and they said, I'm going to try to sell this, and they forgot a zero, if you have the highest, you're going to be the one to pick that up. So I think with this information being out there, we're going to see a little bit more competition on the limit buys, because like I said, if you're the highest, it means you're going to snag the best deal if someone does make that mistake on selling. So I want to spend a fair bit of time going through the limit buy, limit sell, because this is huge. I also really like being able to see all the offers here. So for example, I know that we only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sales until the floor goes up to about 4,500. So, that can help people strategize, especially if they have a collection. Maybe they want to wait, they want to see what's the activity like, and that's why we're under the Ruby order book. Obviously, right here, we're going to have the Mavia order book, and it's going to be very similar. And I think that it's probably going to work exactly the same, where if you have the highest limit buy in and someone lists even below that, you're still going to get it. And then, of course, you can look at activity. This is an important thing to note. It's just good to see how often these are moving, because it's going to give you a sense of how quickly you can turn yours over. Do you need to go under the floor price? Do you want to do mid-range? And then there's some cool information with top holders too, where you can just see people listed here, how many they're holding, how many people are actually holding the villager houses. Now, a couple other important things that I didn't cover is right up at the top. I really like how it actually shows everything here. It shows a portfolio value. So essentially all the NFTs you're holding, what they're approximately worth. Same with Mavia. It also shows how many items you own. So obviously if I had a bunch more NFTs in this account, I would see that. It shows me my in-game Ruby balance, as well as Mavia on base and Mavia on ETH. I'm really curious about this because we do know there is going to be in-game rewards at some point in time for holding tokens. So I wonder if this is how it's going to count it. Really interesting. So that's everything you guys need to know. Making sure that you properly get your account connected in-game to the Mavia website. Like I said, you're doing that by firstly connecting, ideally, Google to your in-game account. You come on to Mavia with a MetaMask. I recommend a hardware wallet, please. Talked about this many times on my channel, how important that is. Then when you create that account, you're going to go into the account on the top right. You're going to click it. You're going to go to My Account. You're going to link to Google, the same Google that's linked in game. Now you're good to navigate the web marketplace, and it's going to use the NFT assets and your Ruby and everything game. And definitely take advantage of those limit buy and sells, because in my opinion, that's what's brought this to a whole new level. And I've already found some interesting things that can be done there. And I like seeing people compete for that floor price. And don't forget that information about the limit buys, where even if someone did try to do a limit sell much lower, you're going to snag it because you actually had the highest buy. Now, most of the other things are pretty similar. You can go through skins, decorations, or consumables. But one huge advantage to this, and I think it's worth mentioning because I know there are a few of you out there, is guild management. And people who are managing multiple accounts or groups, this streamlines everything because now you can access the accounts just through the wallet. You don't have to be logging in game to manage the NFTs or the assets. I know for me and my internal team, this has made my life so much easier. And this is just the beginning. We know the Mavia token integration isn't happening yet for a few months, but they want to get this out there, make sure we were all testing it, make sure it works great. And I'm in love. I think this is fantastic. It just leveled up the whole Ruby marketplace, and it's great to see. Curious about your guys' comments. Let me know what you think. And of course, if you need any help connecting or you run into an issue, you're not sure, jump into our Discord. We're happy to help you out. So do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps out. You made it to the end of the video anyways. And then one last thing is just smash that like button. Okay, we'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.